Hello violinists, and welcome to week 2 of having your instrument. First we're going to review what we worked on in our first lesson, and then we're going to be looking at some new stuff for our second lesson, unless if you already worked ahead, so then we'll work on that together for the first time. Alright, so what we're going to do first is we're going to take out our instrument. What are the 2 rules for taking your instrument out? Do you remember? The first rule is to always have it on the ground. Don't have it on your lap. Always have your instrument case on the ground, because the higher up from the ground it is, the bigger the fall. So if it's going to be on the ground, it's not going to fall very far. The second rule that we need to have is that you're not opening it on the side of the case. Why? Here's kind of an x-ray view. If you open it on the side of the case, you unlatch it, and you open it up, it's going to go boom. And we don't want that, because then that's going to hurt all these mechanisms down here. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to be opening it up flat. You unlatch it, and then you're going to open it up, and there it is, just for you. Alright? We're going to be taking it with our left hand. Remember, this is like a body. We have the head, the neck, and the body. You grab the instrument by the neck, and you take it out of the case. Alright? So you do that. And then you're going to put it on your left knee. Let's look at the 2 different positions we worked on for our first time together. We had the guitar position and we had the upright position. So the guitar position, take it in your left hand, and we're going to put it under our right arm. And I like to put my hand right here just to have another place to hold on to it. Okay? So this is the resting position. Then, when we're going to play it, like we are for the first couple weeks here, we're going to be bringing it to our front, kind of like a guitar, but we're going to have the body, or the back of the body, going to be against our belly. Back, belly. They're going to be together, alright? So, my hand is also going to be right here in the C down here. I can put that there, and that's going to make my thumb go in the right place to go ahead and strum the guitar, otherwise known as doing a pizzicato. We're going to be doing the pizzicato different when we have it up on our shoulder. So let's look at that. I'm just going to give you a little taste about what we're going to be looking at for the next couple, well, for the rest of the year. But we're going to be working on guitar position first, then we're going to switch to the upright. So with your violin in your left hand, like this, we're going to stick it straight out, and then we're going to put it up. And next week we're going to introduce the sponge to get you familiar and used to having the sponge right here between your violin and your shoulder. But why don't we take a look at this, alright? So my shoulder needs to be flat. It can't be squinched up. I'm going to have it flat. The chin rest should be along the side of your face. I kind of like to think of it as a jaw rest. Not sure, but that's what I would like to call it as. And then my wrist here should not be touching the instrument, and we're going to be working on this more, especially once we get the sponge, but I should have it not touching the instrument, and I should be able to swing my arm without having to move the instrument all that much. Alright? And then when we do the pizzicato, we're going to be using our pointer finger, because it'd be kind of awkward to have our thumb there, so we're going to be doing it more with our first finger. Alright? Good. So while we go back into guitar playing position, you make sure your hand is on the C and your thumb is on top of the fingerboard, not in that empty space down here, but on top of the fingerboard. And we call it a fingerboard because that's where our fingers go. Just that easy, right? Let's go ahead and get into playing position here. And let's review our strings. Which one is the highest string? Which one has the highest noise? Do you remember? It's going to be this one down here on the bottom. This is called the E string right here. Which one is going to be the lowest string? It's going to be the one closest to us, and that is the G string. Alright? Let's go through and review what these different strings are. Alright, ready? So, we have the G, the D, the A, and the E. Let's try that again. I want you to say those letters with me. Ready? G, D, A, E. Very good. So these are the strings that we're going to be working with on our violin, and the ones that we're going to be working with the most are going to be the D string and the A string, or like I like to refer to it as the science strings, DNA. So these are the two strings we're going to be working with the most, but in the song Ants, we work on using all of them. So why don't you go ahead and get your packet out that has ants on it. Not the actual bug, but the song Ants. Alright, so we are going to be playing 4 of the 5 lines. Which one can we not play? We cannot play letter C. We cannot play letter C because we don't have that string. Eventually I'm going to teach you how to play C on the violin so that you can play this whole song, but for right now we're going to be playing the first 4 lines. So let's get into playing position, guitar playing position. And I'm going to count to 3 twice. Why am I counting to 3? Do you know? The reason why I'm counting to 3 is because for each letter we play it 3 times. So that means that there are going to be 3 beats per measure. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to go ahead and play. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. E, 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 A, D, 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 G, G, G. How'd you do? Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. E, 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 A, D, 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 G, G, G. How'd you do this time? When you're playing these, make sure that you're saying the letter names, because that's going to help us remember which strings are which. That's going to kind of help ingrain that in your brain. Alright? Let's go ahead and turn to the book. You needed to work on pages 4 and 5 for this week. You're working on numbers, technically 1, but 2 through 9. For number 9, you're going to be writing in the counting. We're going to be using numbers. We're not going to be using ta-ti-tis for those. So make sure that you fill that all out, and then you also get to play it, if you can. So here we are with number 4. Let's take a look at number 4. And this is the first one where it mixes the 2 science strings. We have the D and the A string. Let's find those, shall we? So the D string is this one. It's the one right next to that low sounding string. And then the A is the one right next to it. And that's the one right next to that high string. Alright? So here we go. Number 4, let's take it slow. And I'm going to count to 4 this time because there are 4 beats per measure. Here we are. 1, 2, 3, 4. D, 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 rest. A, rest. D, D, A, D, D, D. Okay, got it? Let's try it again. Make sure you're saying the letter names. Here we are. 1, 2, ready, play. D, 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 A, D, D, A, D, D, D. Very good. So if you need to, slow it down a little bit, especially that part where you don't get to rest and you're switching between the 2 strings. Otherwise, that is going to give you a taste about what the rest of the page is going to look like. So go ahead, work on those 2 pages, work on finishing up the packet, that first page of the packet. Don't go on to the rest of the packet, just that first page. Make sure you do the survey, and make sure you take care of everything else I put on the website. And don't forget that orchestra contract. Alrighty? Sounds good. I'll see you next week.